Learning to play blues harmonica might seem tricky, but here's the truth. You only need to be working on 4 things every day to actually improve and have fun while you're doing it. And I'm going to guide you through those 4 things step by step. It's really easy to feel like there are a million different things that you should be working on in order to get better at blues harmonica. I find this all the time, and it's even worse when I spend time with other harmonica players and other harmonica teachers. I get inspired and then I get overwhelmed because there are a million and one different things that I could be working on to get better. And usually that means that we don't do any of them. We don't start, we don't actually do any practice, and we just stagnate or not improve at all. But actually, there are just 4 things we need to be working on, and whether you're practicing for 10 minutes each day, or an hour or 2 hours each day, as long as you divide your time equally between these 4 things, you're going to keep getting better and you're going to have fun while you do it. So we're going to start with technique. And we start with technique because it's the most boring one to practice. You have to eat your vegetables before you get to have your dessert. Now, what is technique? Technique is all of the technical skills that you need in order to be able to make music with your harmonica. Whatever level you're at, there will be technical skills that you need to be practicing and improving in order to be able to play the music that you want to play. If you're a complete beginner on the instrument, there's a bunch of stuff that needs to come together in order for you to be playing any music whatsoever. Probably the most important one right at the beginning is learning how to breathe naturally through the instrument. If I was teaching a complete beginner what they should be practicing on day 1, I'd say grab your C harmonica and we're going to play holes 1, 2, and 3, and we're just going to practice breathing through the instrument. So we're going to breathe in and then breathe out. So draw and then blow. Now while you're doing that, you should be thinking about what it's sounding like. If it's sounding like this, that means that you're doing it too hard and you're really forcing the air through the instrument. It doesn't actually need that much pressure. It needs a soft touch in order to sound good. So practice playing a little bit more gently. And it's important that you do that for an extended period of time. So let's imagine we were practicing for 10 minutes. We're going to spend 2.5 minutes of our practice on technique. So we're just going to practice that breathing, and you're going to try and maintain it for 2.5 minutes, which at the beginning is really challenging. You might start overinflating or hyperventilating. All sorts of things can go wrong. You might lose focus. That's all normal. We're just trying to build up the stamina and the control. As you get more confident, then you can start working on more complex techniques. But it all starts with that first step, and it all starts with practicing your technique. Now, the next thing to work on is repertoire. So for our next 2.5 minutes of our 10-minute practice session today, we'd be practicing making music with those techniques that we learned. So repertoire is music. And whether it's learning a full piece or it's learning individual licks and riffs, it's all making music with the instrument. The important thing is to not get overwhelmed. If you are trying to learn a big, long piece of music, that is just a sequence of shorter phrases, licks, or riffs. If you've only got 2.5 minutes to practice, you might just be practicing one lick from something. As a complete beginner, I would imagine that we take that breathing and we'd apply it to playing a train rhythm. As you get more advanced over weeks and months and years, you'll move on to playing full licks, full 12-bar solos, 24 bars, 36 bars. This will grow with you, but it's important that you work on applying the technical practice that you've done to actual music, to repertoire that you're learning. So the next thing, and we're getting more and more fun as we go through this, is improvisation. far too many beginners at Blues Harmonica think that improvisation is something that they'll work on later. But actually, you should be working on improvisation from day one. It's so important, and it's not that difficult. If you were here with me today, having your first lesson, I would get you to improvise on day one. And the reason for that is that it takes a long time to get good at improvising, and the biggest enemy of becoming a good improviser is your own mindset. Generally, adult learners really struggle with not doing things well. And if you're creating music, then you're putting yourself out there. And that's a bit scary. Whereas if I watch my kids learning to improvise language, they make noises that make absolutely no sense. And over weeks and months and years, those noises turn into words, they turn into 3-word phrases, and eventually they're full sentences. And now my 4.5-year-old, he speaks in full sentences. They still don't make any sense, but they're really interesting, and they're definitely real sentences. That's what improvisation is like. So at the beginning, if you're a total newbie on the instrument, what I would do is I would put a 12-bar blues backing track on. So I'm going to put on an MCCD backing track in the key of G for my C harmonica. I would just practice making noises. I'd play chords, play holes 1, 2, and 3 like we did in our breathing exercise, and just hear what it sounds like. Might not be great, but you got to get started. A little bit like this. 2, 3, 4. All right, it's as easy as that. I know that the chords didn't sound great everywhere over that 12-bar blues, but they didn't sound terrible, and I learned stuff. I learned about where the chord sounds really good. Don't think that improvisation has to be really complex, really flashy licks. It can be that eventually if you want it to be, but at the beginning, it's just something simple. The next part is maybe the most important, and that is ear training. As a beginner, I suggest that you put your harmonica down so that we don't get distracted by that little instrument. It is distracting. Let's just focus on listening. If you've never played an instrument before, you've spent a lot of time hearing music, but you haven't been listening to it. And this is where ear training comes in. Ear training is learning how to listen to music so that you can translate what you're hearing into music on your instrument, and eventually so that you can translate what you hear in your head into music on the instrument. And that is a long journey, but it starts with doing a little bit of ear training every day. And at the beginning, it's simply putting on one of your favorite tunes. So I'm going to put on Easy by Big Walter Horton. And I'm just going to start by practicing counting through the beats. I'm not doing anything else. I'm just clicking my fingers, tapping my foot in time with the music and counting 1, 2, 3, 4. And it would be like this. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. As a complete beginner, that's really challenging. So you don't need to be thinking about the chord changes or the groove or what the notes are on the harmonica. You're just thinking about being able to play in time and being able to count through the music and locking in with that. And if you're one of those people who really struggles with rhythm, and I know you're out there because most people do, this is one of the best exercises to really solidify your internal sense of rhythm. Please do ear training as part of your daily practice. And if you don't have time to do anything else, only do ear training. As you improve, you'll be learning how to work out what the key of the music is and what key of harmonica you want to play for that. You'll be able to hear licks and then transcribe them onto your harmonica without tabs. mind-boggling. I remember the first time I did that, it literally blew my mind. It was the coolest thing ever. So that's what's great about this practice routine. You can personalize it and customize it to your needs. Obviously, a beginner's practice needs are very different from an advanced player's practice needs, but they still all need to be working on technique, repertoire, improvisation, and ear training. Those are the 4 pillars of your blues harmonica playing, and it will grow with you as a player. Whether you're practicing for 10 minutes or an hour or 2 hours, spend your time evenly between these 4 things. And if you're looking for a quick and easy way to start learning blues harmonica, just click on the link in the description below for my free Blues Harmonica Foundation course. All right, thank you so much for watching. Happy harping. Hot damn, I'm back, baby.